So today we're gonna, in transformational Vedic astrology, we're gonna look at the chart for Freddie Mercury, born September 5th, 1946, at 9:51 a.m. in a rectified chart, Zanzibar, Tanzania. So if you were to look at the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Libra rising at 16 degrees. 16 degrees become the most effective point of every house. Very important. This is unique to his chart. Any planet that's within 5 degrees of that 16 has a lot of impact in his chart. For example, Sun is just a couple degrees away. Now, we're going to first look at how the planets are operating, and then we're going to see when they're operating, because not everything happens all at once. And then we'll look at what we could do to improve his chart. So first, let's see how the planets are operating. Now, any multicona sign, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11, that falls in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house becomes functionally malefic, along with Rahu and Ketu for every chart. So we see the 6th sign of Virgo ruled by Mercury. Mercury becomes functional malefic for this chart. It can cause harm. Not necessarily that it would, but can. So Sun, let's look at Sun. Sun is at 18 degrees. So it is ruling the sign of friendships, connections, and income. And it is in its own house, and it's very strong and well placed. So this gives good support from father. This gives income through leadership. So he formed the band Queen, and with good leadership, it became very, very famous. And then gave him a lot of independence as well. Moon is at 7 degrees. It is ruling the house of career and Dharma, and it is placed in the house of business and communication and performing arts. So Moon itself is working with the public. So he's got a career through performing for the public. Singer, songwriter. Mars is at 24 degrees. So Mars is ruling the house of relationships. It is placed in the house of spiritual growth through letting go of attachments, but also foreign and unusual, separate, kind of controversial partnerships. So he was bisexual, and later in life chose a male partner from a different land, basically foreign. Let's see. So Mercury is at 9 degrees. Now remember, we said that's functional malefic. It's placed in the house of income, and gives spiritual growth through singing, communication, and gave him a very unusual vocal range. Also, he had some depression, some addiction. This is the house of being critical and addiction. He's very critical about making sure that the performances were just perfect before they performed. Give him strong intellect to write songs. Jupiter's at 2 degrees, so that any planet that's less than 5 or more than 25 is said to be in young age or old age, and youngsters and older people cannot protect or promote their own signification. So Jupiter's ruling the house of entrepreneurial success and business communication, performing, and it is conjunct Venus, so that gives an element of beauty and elegance and luxury to that Jupiter. Um, and so, uh, added fashion. He was a fashion icon to this performing arts, and I think it strengthened. It helped to strengthen Jupiter because it was pretty weak. And Venus is very strong and well placed, like his Sun. So it is ruling the house of self, longevity, life purpose. So his life purpose is through performing arts. Venus represents performing arts, and it's in its own sign. Very, very strong. So, and it also made him very charismatic, flamboyant in fashion. Gave him some health issues because he did have AIDS. AIDS has Venus rules the house of, the sexual kind of diseases. So effect had some effect there. Um, During now Venus is very strong and well placed, but at the time when he got the AIDS, I think Rahu was afflicting at 5 degrees or something, or K2. Let's see. Saturn is at 10 degrees. Saturn rules the house of children, of education or teaching, and investments, and also creativity. So, Saturn in the house of career gave career through creativity, and Saturn itself is discipline. Also, gave him some ability to be a fundraiser for service abilities. So, planet Saturn represents service, and so he did raise money for AIDS in his concerts, etc. Now Rahu and K2, they're in the second and eighth house, so this gives desire for transformation, huge drama and transformation in his life, and fame. So real strong desire for fame, and so now let's look at the timing of events. So his family fled Zanzibar when he was about 17, I think in 1963, during a Mercury sub period. Mercury again, relocation to a foreign land. Um, and then he formed the band Queen in 1971 during a Sun period, Sun being one of his powerful planets to start new things. So that gave good success there and income through the band. And then he had a relationship with an English lady, and that ended in 1976 during a Moon Mars period. Mars in the house of endings, losses, representing partnerships with a lady, and then he was diagnosed with HIV during in 1887 during a Mars period. Again, Mars carrying with it this issues of hospitalization and disease of the blood. And then he died November 24th, 1981, during a Mars period. Again, endings thing. It's in this house of ending of relationship. Now, during that period, we'll look at the transit chart and we'll see. So this is the date that he passed away, and November 24th, 1991. And the inner circle is where the planets were when he was born, and the outer circle is where the transiting planets were when he passed away. So we can see that natal Mars is conjunct Venus. So Mars again ending, losses. Venus representing longevity, so loss of the length of his life. And then also Rahu and Ketu were transiting at 16 degrees, which is close to his most effective point, the ascendant degree. So that means they afflict 6 out of his 12 houses. So K2 is afflicting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the house of longevity at the most effective point. So yeah, so those are the main things in this chart. If you would like to get a reading, you can go to vastucreations.com under services, under astrology readings. If you would like to learn about transformation Vedic astrology, you can go to the American Institute of Vastu.com and become certified. And if you're interested in Vastu, you can also learn about Vastu and become certified to be a Vastu practitioner. Basically, it's yoga for your house. So thank you for listening, and you can ask any questions you would like in the YouTube channel.